for the blender thing. There is a dimmer? Where's
the dimmer one?
this one?
You let me know.
Oh.
I'll be your stage.
Sorry.
I'll stage mom you.
Thank you. Okay, wow, this is great. Okay, I'll open. Remember that I had this GLTF file that I should have around here. Yeah, let's work with Buddha, or the Jesus, the Buddha. We're gonna work with Buddha today. So again, this is the model that I scanned in the RISD Museum last week. If you want to deform stuff, this is kind of important. I mean, many mistakes happen because you start in the wrong place. We have an expression in Spanish, I don't know if you have it, Diana, but mal parido, right? Something that wasn't born right. So if you create or something that the origin is not right, ideally when you work with assets, set the center of mass there, put the asset in the center. Okay, it makes all of the other work much more easy, especially if you're dealing with sculpture. This thing, people tend to forget it and just like start around moving things without moving around. Has anyone done like actual ceramics here? Never? Sculpture? Well, one of the tricks with sculpture is that it's very important to move around. You can have a sculpture like, I don't know, make a portrait of a face that looks great in front and they end up looking like Christmas cookies, which is all fine if that's what you want. But if you want to avoid that, you have to remember that the eye travels and touches. And the same thing happens in 3D. If you just start moving things around, but you're not doing this, the shortcut is middle mouse button, you will make mistakes. Like things will look great from one side and awful from another. So right click, set origin to center of mass surface. That helps me put the thing here. If I press on one of these beautiful buttons there, I can position this in the center of the screen, hopefully above the horizon. You can use the rotation button here, or if you're feeling fancy, you can press Command spacebar, and that will bring up a menu. Could we do Command spacebar, please? Oh, sorry, Command spacebar here. For some reason, okay, having too much software open at the same time. But no, not your fault. It's that we're screen recording probably. Anyway, the important thing is that the face is kind of like well positioned in regards to the other thing. This will be very useful in the future. Already these computers, I think that they do have animation, like facial animation installed. For it to work, things need to be aligned to the axes. And once you like it, you press Command A. That stands for apply, because things in 3D generally have a history, and that history, as it happens with all history, can drag you down. Sort of like, I mean, if you posted something that you didn't want it to post, that's kind of sometimes not great. And in Blender, if you don't apply transformations, that is Command A, all transforms, whatever was done before will affect whatever happens afterwards. So it's like kind of a way to clean the slate. Great.
It's like a workflow thing too, right? It's just like good practice to get into the, like anytime you do some sort of change to something that you're happy with, that's a like good thing to always just be snapping to, right?
Yeah. Well, fundamentally, this is kind of weird to understand, but like in like, I don't know, if you're writing something in Word, you have just one level of undeletes, which is the document. History or of like histories in Blender are per object.
Is there an option to show the history, like in a window somewhere?
That's a great question. There was.
Photoshop.
I don't know in Blender how do you show the history of an object. Not.
Photoshop would probably be a window.
There is a way to see what I just did though, which is that, for instance, if I move it, you notice that there's a number, the Y, that moves around. The Y is moving around because it's letting you know that even though it's kind of like, I mean, when you leave home, you know how far you are away from home, right?
Just show
So-
how to actually access the history too.
Oh, great. So this object, home, is Y0. Okay. So I'm going to put it as close to 0 as I can. But as soon as I apply a transformation, again, that is Command A, it's sort of like the memory gets erased, which is great. This is the Back to the Future problem, kind of like what you were saying, Lauren. But if something wrong happened in the past, it has effects on the future, butterfly effect. So you want to be worried about your origins there. Okay, the tool that I want you to see. So we've seen some modifiers, such as, I don't know, wave modifier is a classic funny modifier. If you press play, it immediately works. It's a simple modifier. I can change it this way, so it's like a Groovy Buddha, change height and width, because what you are actually doing, I had to be honest, I failed this in math in high school, but functions can be expressed as curves. So you're applying a curve, which is that thing that you did in high school, but it's being applied in time. Ali, you look like you have a question. I look like I'm mistaken then. But anyway, that is a classic curve thing. That's what type of animation. But the type of animation that I would like us to see is skeletal animation. Okay. Skeletal animation means putting a skeleton inside, kind of like a reverse voodoo thing. We're putting a skeleton inside the face. Anyone has done skeletal animation here before? Winnie. Yeah. The rest, none? It's quite awesome. And Michelle.
Yeah.
Good. So Winnie and Michelle, you're going to be the best classmates. Great. We're going to add an object that is called an armature. Don't worry if you're not seeing the rest of these things. Don't worry if you're not seeing anything, actually. As long as you have armature as an option, we're good. Okay. Now, an armature is an object that you use to drive another object. I do tend to make metaphors that has to do with sorcery with this. I don't know if because I'm reading that Maria Enriquez book, but you are going to make a spell. Okay, two objects that make something together, kind of like spring and trees. And you're going to create an armature, and we press on armature, and as soon as we press on armature, you'll see, and this is one of the things that make people in 3D very anxious, like you created something, but it's not there. And this is the point where you have to conjure all of your like Disney childhood movies, Peppa Pig, everything, and just believe that something is there, okay? Otherwise called Paw Patrol. I love Paw Patrol. I don't know why. I've never seen it. But
Do you like the name or do you like the actual?
I don't know. I mean, I see this giant sign on the street, and I find it like super. I mean, it's a pop, it's a cop, and it's cute. It's so utopian. Anyway, you will select the object because the armature is visible on the scene collection, which is here. And even though, imagine you are some sort of doctor now. Even though you cannot see it, you can still do things to it. So the first thing that you will do is to scale. Just press the scale button, press and hold within the sphere or circle, and drag. Oh, it was quite a big.
It's giving. It's clown.
Yeah.
It's very clown.
It's good. Yeah. Cyber Buddha.
It's giving Nokian bike. Or it's like a pink man. Can we see it without the Buddha?
Yes. If you press on the wireframe, you can press on the X-ray button, and there you can see how this object is inside the Buddha. Now, anatomy of this object is called a bone. There, the function of a bone, to summarize it, is that the model that you have is made out of vertices. The bone has sort of an area of influence, kind of like gravity in a way, and it affects, just like gravity, it affects vertices around it. Now, you have to enable that, okay? But it affects certain vertices around it, and just like gravity, if the objects are too far from it, it won't affect them as much. Kind of like, I don't know, Mars is sort of more doomed than Neptune in relation to the Sun. Objects that are far away from the bone are going to get less affected. So we can try that actually. We will select that bone and press edit mode. And when you press edit mode, the bone, which I'm seeing because I have X-ray turned on, which is that button there. When you have this bone like that, we can press the sphere of the bone, which is called the joint, no pun intended, and we can move it around, and I'm dragging it by this handle so that I don't end up with the bone, like, I don't know, this looks fine here, but if I turn around, it doesn't, right? So that's what I mean by using, that's why I turn around a lot and use.
If you're having problems with that and you want to see it in quad mode, that's Control Option Q.
I think so. I'm always scared about that combination because in Max it's like it might turn like quit Blender.
No, Control Option is the Mac.
Oh, great, cool.
But yes, I've almost shut my computer down by accident.
Yeah.
Typing in the wrong one.
In any case, I really advise you to try to pull by the handles, by the arrows. And now I'm going to do a tiny bone here. And I'm going to put it here because it's a popsicle. And I'm going to add more bones. Okay. So to add more bones, what you need to do is to either press this button here with the bone selected or press the E key. And as soon as you press the E key, you get a plus sign and it extrudes a bone. So it can make another bone, and these bones are going to drive some things. Since I want to play a bit more with this figure, I would like, for instance, to move the eyes a bit and the mouth. I would leave this bone here. I will extrude another one so that I have the whole head. I will again press E and extrude another one. And then I'm going to extrude one from here. You extrude bones by pressing E or extruding from, not from the bone itself, but from the joint. So I will put this one here, which will be for the mouth. I will actually extrude another one here.
Do you want all the bones to be, you can't are you looking to keep the bones inside of the mesh?
Yes, because bones outside of a body are not a good sign.
Yes.
I mean, you can put them, but There are reasons why you might want to do that, but not in this scenario. The eyes, I'm going to make one for that eye and one for the other one.
You're only able to make bones coming out of vertically.
You can attach bones that are disattached to the. I mean, you can add bones that are not coming from the another bone.
Is it about pulling when you're extruding it? Is it about like pulling the circle around to extrude it in different directions?
When you're extruding, if you pull from the plus sign, it will extrude along the direction of the previous bone. If you just pull from the thingy, from the circle, it will do whatever.
Do you want to try that? See if you can get it coming out of a different.
Remember that you have to pull the bones from the. You have to pull the bones from a joint. The joint is the sphere at the extreme of the bone.
Did you try that?
Yeah, so do I have to move it after?
It's like sometimes when you try to extrude a bone, it feels like it's locked into a ruler.
Yeah, that was what
Oh, when you press the plus sign.
Yeah.
Press the G key. That stands for moving.
Oh.
Oh, press the G.
Yeah.
And what happened?
I don't know, this week.
It's growing it. I think it's just about not. If you grab the yellow plus sign, it's always going to go in the direction that the yellow plus sign is in. But if you grab it anywhere in that circle, it'll pull in that direction.
Is there a way to pivot a bone along a joint? Because these all came out, but if I rotate them, they're gonna like
press
not be
that
connected.
plus sign. That magnet.
Oh.
Yeah. And then this is the pin. Sorry, snap. Press on the snap thing. Press face. And there's a thing that says. Oh, no. I'm just checking. They should align to. Is this Blender 4? Yeah.
Am I on a different version?
Yeah. There might be some differences. For instance, the menu for modifiers is different, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, now if you move these things, they should attach to the faces.
Oh, okay, yeah, they are.
Good.
Perfect.
But don't do the whole bone, because if you do the whole bone, it will have problem. Like, do it by vertex. Oh, this is nice. It is fun, right? It's kind of like making your animatronic after the fact.
Does it matter if there are like several of these? Like they're not all the same. Like joint. It has created a new one every time.
Medically, it might matter actually.
Like how do I? Because if I do extrude, it like will go from.
Actually,
this end.
let's do a test. Let's go back into object mode.
Is there a shortcut for that?
Yeah, tab key. There's this other thing. Select the thing. There's pose mode actually. Great. Now press the first bone pick up the first bone that you had, the first one.
The very first one?
Yeah.
That was this one.
The first bone.
That I made?
Oh, the first one on that chain. Every chain starts with a bone that has a white basis. I think that is the one on the back of the head. Like if you turn around.
What do you mean?
Wow. No. Well, then move a bone. I want you to test out.
You want me to move this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're separate. So if they're not connected, you need to do it again.
Wait, how do I get it to connect
By
then?
extruding them from the same the same parent bone.
Can you choose which direction, like if I want them all to extend from this end?
I think you should.
Like for instance, that one that you just extruded. If you
Yeah.
press E,
Yeah.
you should select the joint. I think that you extruded that not from the joint, but just select the joint, not the bone, and press E. Okay, just to make sure. And now if you go into pose mode, which is where we're going now, where if you move this one, the other one will follow.
Does it matter like what direction this thing is facing? It says you could like switch the direction. I don't know. Does that matter?
No, yeah, the direction matters. Kind of like, I mean, think if your humerus was the other way around.
Once you've pulled the bone out, can you scale it?
Yeah, there's a scale function.
So we've got a big bone problem over here.
Big bone problem.
Okay, yeah, let me show you. Ahora llega el momento que trauma a todos. Entonces, esta venita es este joint específicamente, como que logré sacarlo un poco más, pero cuando estábamos metidos con esto, Lauren y yo, cuando trato de sacarlo por acá, como que
se va a la mierda.
se va a la mierda totalmente. Y no
¿Por
sé
qué
cómo.
sin esa dirección tan extraña?
O sea, es muy raro. Y ella también trató de... Ella también trató de ponerlo en los diferentes, o sea, los coordinates acá y como que salía hasta más grande.
Chucha.
Sí, no sé.
Dissolve bones is what the option?
Yes,
Yeah.
they dissolve really well with muriatic acid.
Oh.
Yeah.
I learned that on Breaking Bad.
Very good show.
Very good show.
Cement cleaner. No big deal. Figured out how to get rid of it.
How, I don't know, how did this happen?
¿Quieres sentarte?
Déjame pausar eso porque después me van a decirte que el video quedó muy largo.
Ok.
Okay, so I just set a bone outside for fun. It's not ideal. Again, the same thing applies if you have a bone outside. It's not generally not that amazing. It would be amazing in cases such as I add another object. So I'm going to go back into object mode, add mesh, and I'm going to add torus. Like in this case, it might be interesting to have an extra bone outside, just so you see that relationship too.
Just a neck donut.
It's a holiness, but humble, so you can't see the halo. Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, so the thing now comes the spell. So you collected your bones, you have the doll. Now you just have to do the hocus pocus thing, which is a thing about like child-parent relationships in Blender. Are you first select the child?
Is that the Buddha?
Yes, I know it's metaphysically complicated, but and then you press Shift and you select the bones. Okay. Parent-child relationships are very important because, I mean, they're used for programming too, but it's basically one thing drives the other. Usually you choose, like usually the parent drives the child. So you select the child first and then the driver. It happens, I'll do it again, but I'll select the Buddha, I'll shift select the donut, and I'll shift select the skeleton. That means the last object selected is the one that is the parent. Okay. And now you press Control or Command P, that stands for parenting. And if all goes well within this spell, you should have an option that says Armature Deform.
Does everyone get that?
The order is not correct. It's select
the
Mhm.
and then the armature.
Yes, and now Command P. Weird. Do you mind?
Just feeling
Correcting.
the curse of the body.
No, that is.
Sometimes I just need to stand up and move my arms. Stand up, get all the blood.
Wow.
I like to know about radio exercises in my classes.
I'm taking that one. The dancing body icon are properties of the armature.
Okay.
If you expand view for display, you can put them in front. Just making sure.
And then do armature deform.
Oh, cool.
There it was. Okay. Automatic weights.
So we just can't select it from up here.
Yeah.
Or command.
But wait a second, it takes a while. Okay. So once you have this option, you have with empty groups, which you don't want to do. Okay. You have with envelope weights, which also you don't want to do, but it's sort of like standard distance, and you have automatic weights. Automatic weights means that thing that I mentioned about force of gravity. Okay. So you'll press with automatic weights, and it can last between a long time or another thing. But if you do have the spinning beach ball, just let it do its work. Okay, it's like elevators or traffic lights in Boston. Not in Boston, because traffic lights here are insane. But it won't be faster if you overclick.
Do you want to show that one more time?
Of course, it's Command P. I mean, you select the child, you shift select all the objects that you want to be driven by the bones, and then you shift select the bone system, and then you press Command P. It should read with automatic weights, and you click with automatic weights. Let me double check on a thing here. Good, okay. And after a while, in this case very little because the model doesn't have a lot of topology, you should see that if you pick up the first bone and I move it around, it moves everything, which is kind of not the idea. But the weight thing, I'll illustrate it here. The weight thing means that each bone, you don't have to do this, it's just for illustrative purposes. Each bone drives something. So that's the bone that I set to the eye, that's the bone that I set to the other eye, the ear, etc. Okay.
Can you name them?
Yes. You can name the bone, which is convenient for more complex rigging. Like, I don't know, spine 1, 2, 3, pinky, things like that. And now, whenever you have the bone selected, there is an option. Usually you have object mode and edit mode. But if you select the bone itself, the armature, you can click here and go into pose mode. And pose mode is a mode where you can drive the bone modifies the shape. As you can see, this model does have some weird things, which is, I guess, perhaps a good moment to actually redo something. This model has weird topology, so I'm going to fix the topology by going into the edge properties, and I'm going to reshape it. Remesh, voxel, perhaps not that. I will do a smaller voxel size, something like that perhaps. Voxel remesh, okay, that's a bit better, not great, but it will work. So we'll do it once again. I'll select that, shift select the donut, shift select the, select that, shift select the donut, shift select the, it's being kind of coy, and the skeleton, Command P, automatic weights, and now with the bone selected, the armature selected, I can go into pose mode. You cannot modify the armature if you're not into pose mode. And I should be able to, yeah, this is more natural movement. Sort of, but you know. But if you select this, I'll select. I made a mouth one because I can turn on with this icon. I can move it without seeing the rest, but. And the donut should be, yeah, the donut is being driven by this bone, but this is very important. Bones work in chains, so if I move the main one, it drives everything else. In the same way that if we're in a good situation, if I move my arm, my hand follows, right? If you move your arm and your hand doesn't follow, please let us know. We'll call health services. Ooh, I had the man bun thing. I hear a tiny shy Cristobal there. Is that possible? That I hear shyness?
You gotta select the orange.
Okay. I'm coming. I'm going to post this. This will take some work.